Let it 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 out. Good evening.
Yeah, that looks better.
I'm not connected. Good evening. Can you hear me? All right. I see Ebony said the sound is there. Good evening. I didn't have my plug, so I didn't have my camera that I just bought. So I'm over here going nuts because some people, I guess, aren't techie like me, and they still like these USB cords, and they don't work on anything. All my Mac products are C, not USB. So I need my camera, or at least my adapter. I'll be glad when it's these little things are worked out. Loud and clear. All right, special. All right, good evening, Camille, Dominique, Gwyneth, Candy, welcome, Deja, Diana, Chantel, Noemi, welcome. God bless you, Bianca and Lydia Cordova. Ubi from Canada. Pastor D, Pastor Kareem. Welcome, Leah. My coach, Ebony. Please like and share. Angela Copeland. Chevelle. Welcome, Renee. Carmen Ortiz. Welcome, Yolanda Dawson. Sharita. Jerry. Latoya. Thank you for the seed, Latoya. Danielle. Welcome. Gwen Tucker. Daniel Woodard, welcome, my brother. Elsie, Patricia, welcome. Welcome, Maria and Anna. Maria Rodriguez, that is, and Anna. Brittany, Nicole, welcome, Cora. Welcome, Tasha. Kita, welcome, Anya. Carmen Figueroa, saw a message from you today. Welcome. Renee, Vanessa, Karen, Shar Burnett. I was reading your comment that your children heard the theme song and told everybody had to be quiet. Your mom's detoxing. Yes, yes, and yes. Coach Latanya, welcome. Elitza, Coretha, Karen. She said, the heartbeat got the best seats. Come on. Mr. Howard, Thomasina. Welcome, Brenda. Gwen Molden, welcome. Welcome, Bettina. Seen your name pretty often now. Go Detoxer. You are officially in detox because we are at day 11. This is an official detox when you're at this point. Kingdom Health Connections, welcome. Can't wait to have you on the platform with me. Carolyn Booker, Mike Rose, what's up, family? Keisha, welcome. Maria Cameron, welcome. Speedy recovery to you. Got lots of work for you to do. You've already been gone 24 hours. You're just falling so behind. Corita, welcome, baby girl. Chevelle, Thomasina. I see you, Deja. Thank you for your seed that you sown. And special, Diana, welcome. Lisa Palmer, Nanita, DJ Super Joe. Hey, maybe we should have you detoxing, playing my jingle. My mind does not stop working. Somebody said that to me the other day, and it's so true. Aubrey, welcome. Vicky, Jessica, Rosalind, hello, mother. A lot of people want the hoodie. Well, if a lot of people email, then we'll produce a hoodie for them. Welcome, Gwyneth. Apostle Pamela. Nick. Faithful Nick. It's my boy. Thank you. Jennifer. Elsie. Daisy. Welcome. From North Carolina. Welcome, Daisy. Is this your first night with us? Looks like I did the rundown. Jennifer, Colada, Sylvia, Constance. If some of y'all commented after I was running the slider down, it's probably why I missed your name. But welcome. You know you're in the house, and we will see your name as you continue to post comments. When you like and share, your name shows up. We are at 90. We're not at our 100, and we're not at the 167 that we had the first week, but that's kind of common with So Detox. People kind of get nauseous and headachy, maybe a little irritated, frustrated. All of a sudden, my voice bothers them. My eyes will bother them, anything, because they're being triggered by what's coming over the airways. But here's to y'all for being faithful and committed on day 10. 20 more to go. And how do y'all feel? Do you feel like we can do 20? Do y'all feel like y'all good for a good 20? Or do you want to cut it in half and just do another 10? Do you want to do a 20-day detox or a 30-day detox? What are you feeling like? Chevelle says 20 more days. Of course Chevelle would. I'm just messing with y'all. Day 10, get your pen. All right, Pastor D. You starting with a jingle too? I came up with something really good today. A lot of vision comes to me in January because I purposely set that time up for to do that in January, but also having this downtime allows me to not feel so overwhelmed in my thoughts. I can keep up with all my thoughts that are running through me. I'm going to have to move someone in my house with me, though. I need a scribe. I need someone who doesn't mind waking up at 2, 3 in the morning when my vision is going, and they'll get up with me and make some things happen. Oh, I'm seeing the vote all the way for 30 days. Thank you, Constance. Constance says she just shared to at least 15 to 20 people. Thank you. Thank you, Constance. You are the bomb dot diggity detoxer. So how'd y'all do last night? How did we do last night on suppression and repression? Any testimonies, any takeaways to post while we're here, getting ready to start? Doesn't matter how many days someone said, just go for it. Someone says 60 days. How many subscribers are we up to? Good question. Let's see. Ebony, do you know that answer? You can probably find it out a lot faster than I can. You go, Sharita. Y'all have partnered with me. 943 subscribers. 943. So that leaves us at 57 more we need. 57. Come on, y'all. We just need 57 more people. Tell somebody that you'll cook for them. Tell them this is something that I'm partnering in. It's changing my life. It's free. This is the least we can do for that woman. She prays. She gets warfare for this. Come on, 57. Let's go. We got it. Last night, still processing. Thank you, Leah. I suppress a whole lot on purpose, consciously, and I'm 100% aware of it. All right, Dom. I'll take that. Very good. Karen said she had to replay it 3 times last night. I love the replay numbers. I hope you did it on YouTube. Shows up good for us. Welcome to So Detox. Brittany says, I realized I definitely suppressed some things, but I feel comfortable talking about it with the person. All right, that's good. Pastor Kareem said it was definitely heavy. Didn't realize how much was repressed. Right, exactly. Because we don't take the time to go there. All right, I want to acknowledge, I guess I have to do it off the top of my head because I don't have my phone in here. You know where my phone is? but I'll do it off the top of my head. I want to thank everyone who is sending in cash apps, the consistent ones that are sending a heartfelt blessing in from their heart to mine. Thank you so much for your consistent sowing. I know it's definitely Vanessa is consistent. My husband seems to be my manager tonight, so he's messing with the lighting. How do y'all like the lights? Tell me if I'm brighter in the room than the other nights. The church was really, really good lighting last night. And next week, we're going to have cameras set up so that I don't have to sit in front of a computer and I could actually stand up and talk and engage and y'all can see the whole room. So that's going to be a good thing. But for now, how do y'all like the lighting? Give the man a shout out. Oh, I want to thank Carolyn Green on YouTube. She said, I love, love, love your program. Aw, thank you, Carolyn Green. That's what I'm talking about.
Call it without messing you up.
No, it's going to ring here. That was a good question. Don't worry about it. I can do it after. Again, thank you for all those that send cash apps. Any amount, just the heartfelt first that makes the impression. And every amount contributed with others giving is enough to help everyone receive and be ministered to. All right, y'all clapping your hand. Lighting looks great. Lighting is perfecto. All right, Daisy. Lighting is good. Great lighting, Minister Bernard. Great lighting. It's perfect. Okay, good. It's not dark. 'Cause I know the other nights, Ebony was like, ugh, audio's great. We got to do something with the video. All right. What about the first night that we started? What about the first night that we started going through the 20 days of defense mechanisms when we were naming them specifically? The first night, I didn't want to say it, but y'all probably know it anyway. Y'all are real good. It was denial. How about denial? Has that been creeping up on y'all at all? Denial. I'm ready to jump right in, but I do want to say this too because it's been on my heart. How much of a team is coming together this year that's such a help, and we can do so much more when there's so many more people involved in something. When you see a lot of other platforms or ministries that are feeding you online, that they're nourishing to your soul or your body or your spirit, you're being ministered to regarding relationships or health or fitness. Folks have teams, and the teams help them out a lot. And pastors, their churches help them out. They have people that are specifically assigned just for this venue of what God has given their pastor to do. So I can only take this ceiling height by myself. You know, God has already made it global, but we won't be able to reach what he has predetermined for us if we don't get the hands on board. You know, the scripture that the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. So I want to thank God for definitely how Ebony has jumped in on this, been consistent in the last couple of years, even more so this year. And I want to thank God for Mike Rose, who's jumped in and he's getting some better pictures and some better photography and some better shots. And I want to thank God for that. And then my lighting director tonight, I want to thank God for Bernard. He stayed awake and he's in here in the studio with me. We getting somewhere, y'all. He's peeking at me to see what I'm telling y'all. All right, welcome. It is January 11th, which means it is our 10th night of So Detox 2023. I'm so good to have you so glad to have you here with me. Everything's better when you're here with me. Do you know that? Everything's better when you are here with me. Good. All right, so tonight we're going to talk, and we're going to talk about projection. We're going to talk about projection, denial, suppression, and repression. And tonight we're going to deal with projection. How y'all doing with your ebooks? Any problems getting your ebooks? Yeah, people really understand the team concept. It helps. So projection. Projection can be defined as attributing to others one's own unacceptable or unwanted thoughts and even emotions. Projection. Projection can be defined as attributing to others one's own unacceptable or unwanted thoughts and emotions. Deja, do you have the book? Leah says she loves her ebook. Thank you. And I didn't do too bad. My publisher said he went in and he made the edits that were necessary, but I didn't think I did too bad. Can you imagine transferring emotions onto someone? Come on in, have a seat, sit down, let's get this work done. Madison says hi, Mr. Bernard.
Hello.
Projection reduces anxiety in the way that it allows the expression or the impulse or desire without letting the ego even recognize it. I said a whole lot. If I had the time, man, what I would put up here. All right, Gwen is praying. Beautiful. Projection can be defined as attributing to others one's own unacceptable or unwanted thoughts or even their emotions. Projection, I'm going to go down a little bit further from that. Projection reduces anxiety in the way that it allows the expression of the impulse or desire without letting the ego recognize it. So see, there's a purpose. There's a purpose in why we project. There's a purpose in why we do everything. There's a purpose in why we do everything. Not everything has a beneficial purpose, but there is a purpose in why we do everything. Even the bad things, the not so good things, there's purpose. Even the things that we want to stop, we fast to stop. We ask people to be prayer partners with us to pray about it. We fast about it. We ask God to help us with it. Most of the times, those things are not stopped because somewhere in us, especially on the inside, we believe that it is a benefit to us in some way. Like when we're told, when we deal with people who want to quit cigarette smoking, you can taper them down to a lighter brand. When I wanted to stop smoking cigarettes years ago, I was told to go to one of those, I forget what it's called now, but when the filter in the cigarette is like a white cigarette, I forget the name that they even put me on, but it was a menthol light. I remember that. And all it did was make me suck more of those things in. Didn't change anything. The desire was still there because in my mind, I didn't get the whole concept. I didn't understand what it was doing to my health. I didn't understand the benefits of not smoking. When I started learning what your lungs look like, and when I started seeing people's lungs on x-rays, and I was like, okay. If I want to live healthy, if I want to live a long time, if I want to prosper and be in good health while my soul is prospering, this right here has got to go. It's not good for my temple. So yeah, we can taper someone down, but when you get someone to understand that they are actually smoking, we're going to use this post that I have on the screen tonight, that they're actually smoking cigarettes because they believe it's reducing anxiety, that it is allowing them to have an expression of an impulse of what they're feeling, but thinking they're not feeling by smoking. And they're doing this by bypassing the entire ego. It's amazing. The human psyche and the human anatomy is amazing. I am struggling with cigarette addiction. It is the hardest thing for me to quit. Well, you know what we're going to do for you, Miss B? We're going to pray for you. Yep, Crystal Address remembers those Virginia Slims, menthol light. That's exactly what they told me to go to. Ugh, I'm so glad I'm off all of it. This defense mechanism projects. This defense mechanism projects one's undesirable thoughts, motivations, desires, and feelings, parts of oneself, onto someone else. Usually another person, but psychological projection onto animals and inanimate objects also occurs. I'm going to take some more of this good old sparkling water. This defense mechanism projects one's undesirable thoughts. So we already know that they're undesirable. Motivations, desires, and feelings, parts of oneself. We are projecting a part of ourselves onto someone else, usually another person. But psychological projection, this is so deep. We may have to go back to this if we have time in the end, onto animals and inanimate objects also occurs. To understand the process, imagine an individual, let's just say her name's Alice, for example, who feels disliked for another person. She feels a distaste, a dislike for another person. And let's just say his name is Bob. His name can only be Bob or John, right? Maybe Sam. So we got Alice and Bob. Alice feels a dislike for Bob, but whose unconscious mind will not allow her to become aware of this negative emotion. Instead of admitting to herself that she feels dislike for Bob, she projects her dislike onto Bob, so that her conscious thought is not, I don't like Bob, but rather, Bob doesn't like me. In this way, you can see that the projection is related to, where's my drums? Which one was my drums? Was this my drums? Is that my drums? You're on delay. Did y'all hear my drums? Come on, it's Wednesday. I'm 10 days in. I was so frustrated with my camera stuff tonight. Thank you. Drums, thank you. So instead of saying, I don't like you, this person will go around and project. They will go around and say, they don't like me. So in this way, one can see that projection is related to, drum roll please. For all of y'all that have the book, denial. So these can crossbreed. They can work in hybrid with one another. Instead of admitting you don't like that person, you don't want to seem like it's you. You don't want to show that there's some jealousy with them, that there's some insecurity towards them. So you'd rather say, they don't like me, so I don't hang with them. They don't like me. Because in this way, projection is related to denial. The only defense mechanism that is considered more primitive than projection. Alice has denied a part of herself that is desperate to come to the surface. Did you hear that? This is another good way to classify denial. Denying something is keeping below surface things that your soul wants to bring up. She cannot flatly deny that she dislikes Bob, so instead she projects the dislike, thinking that it is Bob who doesn't like her. Now, is this conscious or unconscious? Is she doing this on purpose? We learned about defense mechanism. Are they conscious or unconscious? Coping mechanisms are conscious behaviors. They should be adaptive coping procedures in the adaptational process of going from defense mechanism, DMs, to coping mechanisms. We want to go from being in that oblivious outer space living of unconscious to going into a conscious place. So a part of her is probably completely convinced that this group of people in her church don't like her. May even put her mouth on these people to other people. They don't like me. Why are you hanging around them? They don't like me. Why do you go over there? They don't like me. Never introduced yourself to them. Never tried to be around them more than 3 times. But in your mind, you've bought into your own toxic thinking because maybe your life has been full of a lot of rejection and abandonment. So it's easier for you to buy into the processes of someone doesn't like you rather than I don't like them. Because more times than not, your feelings of not liking someone is simply because you don't like yourself. I'm going to be Kermit right here and I'm going to get my tea. That's a mic drop. Yeah. And oftentimes when I ask people, do you feel like you like yourself? Of course I do. Do you feel like you have any hatred to yourself? Not at all. Usually they don't know. But one way to backtrack, remember we went from fruit to trunk to root, right? When I was explaining the process of things that are fruit to bad behaviors in our lifestyle or the type of toxic parenting style we were under. If you have been rejected or abandoned most of your life by the most important, pivotal people in your life, you can best believe there is a great dislike towards yourself. And it's all unconscious. And it will show because most of your behaviors disrespect yourself. But then, we classify that too, or I just keep it real. No, you're rude and you have poor behavior and you're a grown adult and you don't know how to have good behavior. You don't have that public behavior because deep down inside, there's a dislike for yourself. And this is the reason why most people do not know if they have self-hatred or if they don't like themselves, because they still can't figure out why mom and dad rejected me. Why did my mother reject me? There has to be something wrong with me. That's deep embedded in you. It's not here. You get up and you get your hair done. You put your makeup on. You put your nice outfit on. You the thing for the day. Up here, oh, I love myself. I like myself. I'm proud of myself. But back here, remember we talked about infancy? What we hear, what we learn, what we take in infancy actually gets recorded in us. And it becomes a part of a memory that we may never be able to pull forward in our consciousness to know what happened to us in infancy. There is no way possible without therapy or deliverance from the Most High Yahweh that you could be rejected by your parents and stand and tell me that you love yourself without having those two works in the process. There's no way. Because it's deep embedded. It's deep. It's almost like it's instilled. It grew with you. It doesn't grow away. It grows with you. Your mother rejected you. Hello. That's where you get a basis of your identity at. Your father rejected you, got to meet you, and then never showed up again. That's become a part of your identity. So if we go back to the green book, since we use colors now with my books, if you go back to the green book, the self-esteem book, where I ask you in chapter 1 and 2, what are some of your core beliefs? Most people don't even know what their beliefs are. And that's not to make a joke. You know, and even you ask a Christian, they'll never say that I believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ. I believe that that Jesus is the Son of God and he was raised from the dead. They won't even say that I believe that abortion is a Babylon rite, but according to a new believer in the kingdom, that is not something that we support. They won't say that I believe in the Holy Spirit. They won't say that I believe in the Godhead. They're like, I don't know what I believe. So then we have to work them from a world view all the way in. And I don't think I've had one person. We did So Detox Self-Esteem 3 years ago. Could you believe it was 2021? That was 3 years ago. 3, Januaries. And no one has ever completed the self-esteem. They want to skip and they want hands laid on them. They want gifts. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to start businesses, but they still have not addressed their low self-esteem issue. And it's most times because we haven't made people to recognize that there's a low self-esteem issue. Welcome, Daisy. You got mail, honey. You're here with us. What are some of your core beliefs? Your core beliefs, deep down inside, somewhere in me, I must believe that there's something that's not great about me or not lovable about me because the two people that got together and birthed me rejected me. So how can you feel good about yourself? It is impossible. You have to do the work. This is why we drop numbers here. We don't hit millions. We drop numbers here because this is the work that's touchy and it's triggering and it's hurtful and it can be felt so personal. Go ahead. Karen said she's getting free tonight and the mic just broke. I remember Regina, she used to always say that she first started listening to So Detox. She used to try to walk away from the camera because she'd be so triggered and forget she had a headset on. It yanked her right on back. She said that was the yoke of Jesus Christ that's on So Detox. And the ones that's supposed to have it will actually be yoked right back to it. True surgery. How many of us in here, if you want to use the emoji to raise your hands or you want to put up some kind of sign or symbol, can say that there was a great level of rejection in your childhood from some pivotal people in your life? Pivotal. Mother, father, sister, brother, grandma, teachers. Any of those? Let me see the emoji for your hands, or you can put up 100. Put up something that identifies it's you. Yeah, we are not alone. Yes. Some form of rejection, some form of abandonment. So trust me, detoxers, in your core beliefs, there is a skewed identity that says, I'm unlovable. How could anybody love me? How can anyone be faithful to me? How can anyone be honest and truthful to me? How could I ever love anyone? It's in there. It's a core belief. It's not something that you're working at. It's not something that you are even aware that it's there. It may be sabotaging former relationships. It may be sabotaging your marriage. It may be sabotaging friendships, but it's there. And I think it made sense to y'all, right? How can you convince me, let's just stick with me. How can you convince me that you don't have some form of self-hatred or a low self-esteem when the people who were supposed to love you, whether you came out with 9 toes, and if all your teeth didn't come out and you couldn't spell till you was in the 5th grade, not be proud of you and love you. Parents love you. Right? They go crazy over their babies. I know I did, and I know I go crazy over my granddaughter. I can talk all day long. That's a parental. That's a matriarch. and a patriarch love for their children, their generation, everybody else would be like, man, them kids bad as can be. And they'd be like, not my babies. But when you didn't get that, you didn't get that validation, affirmation, you didn't have anyone bragging about you. You didn't have anyone saying the positive things to you growing up. So now you have to have your tank filled of self-love. You have to have that tank filled in different ways that you get it filled. And that will be a whole topic by itself in a nighttime. What do you do to help build your self-esteem? Because I can guarantee you, whatever it is that you do to build your self-esteem, it doesn't last long. It won't even last a week, because its self-esteem is never built from the outside. It's built from the in. And we have to deal with first getting you to face those beliefs. What do you believe by the way they treated you? Deep, huh? So Alice is denying a part of herself. And when we deny a part of ourselves, then we start running into physical problems in our body. Alice has denied a part of herself that is desperate to come to the surface. She cannot flatly deny that she dislikes Bob, so instead she projects the dislike onto someone else. In this story example, it's Bob. This concept was anticipated by Friedrich Nietzsche. You know, all of the the beginning of psychology came from the Germans, right? And he says, he who fights with monsters might take care lest he thereby becomes a monster. He who fights with monsters might take care lest he thereby becomes a monster. For me, what that says is hurt people hurt people. And if you gaze for long into an abyss, the abyss gazes also into you, beyond good and evil. When addressing psychological trauma, this defense mechanism sometimes becomes counter-projection. Counter-projection. Let's write that up. Counter-projection. Come on, y'all got some good notes going up here. And I'm going to just write it down here. I know you're a little behind me, so. Counter-projection is something like this. He who fights with monsters might take care lest he thereby becomes a monster. And if you gaze for a long time into an abyss, the abyss gazes also into you. That's counter-projection. It's including an obsession to continue and remain in a reoccurring trauma, causing situation, and a compulsive obsession with the perceived perpetrator of the trauma or its projection. This needs a night all by itself. When an obsession becomes counter-projection, listen, including an obsession to continue and remain in a reoccurring trauma-causing situation, and a compulsive obsession with the perceived perpetrator of the trauma or its projection. So could you imagine how Alice started going around the church talking about Bob, turning people against Bob? Because she has now formed a obsession, a compulsive obsession with who she believes is her perpetrator, which really connects down to her trauma. That's heavy. All right, we're going to hit one more tonight before we go. I'm at 46 minutes that we've been on, so we're doing all right. I'm going to go ahead and just hit this one because I can use the extra day. If I'm only on number 4 and there's 20, I'm going to need 16 days to get through these, and 16 days is going to take us to 26 days, which will leave me with 4 days to really work in on some deep areas. And I am going to, it's my plan to pull in someone from online, not just the live audience that we have, but I want to pull in someone. And if possible, I actually want to do a very, very brief, a very snippet portion of a coaching session on a particular issue. So let's just say we're doing denial. And I'm teaching about it. I'm talking about it. Y'all are putting comments up here. And then I'll go ahead and ask. And I'll say, I like what, for example, tonight, I like what, well, I'm going to leave Diane alone. I'll pick on Pastor D. I like what Pastor D wrote on the screen regarding denial. Pastor D, would you like to become a part of our online audience? I want to show people, ask you a couple questions, have you respond, and then show people how we work down in mental health life coaching to get to the root of people. So I'm interested, and please don't inbox me and tell me as your volunteer. We'll grab you based on how we see your responses are on the screen. And don't be shy or embarrassed. It's been a pretty consistent group of us. We don't have too many, but people probably drop in, they look, and then they fade out. But for those that stay on for the whole gist of it, is really those who registered. So you won't be embarrassed, but it's going to help you. It's going to give you a piece of what we do, and it's also going to help those that are watching. So we're going to move right here for a moment from projection, and we're going to end on rationalization. We'll go there tonight. Thank you, Brittany. She said that would be great to see and learn from. So let's deal with rationalization. I have just a very short piece on this tonight, and good, and we'll go from there. Rationalization is a defense mechanism that involves explaining and unacceptable behavior. Rationalization is a defense mechanism that involves explaining an unacceptable behavior or feeling rationally or logically avoiding the true reasons for the behavior. So you're rationalizing, almost defending. You're rationalizing, almost minimizing. You get it? You're rationalizing, and it is a defense mechanism. And how the application process plays out in front of all of us is that it involves explaining an unacceptable behavior or feeling rationally or logically, avoiding the true reasons for your behavior. For example, somebody say, for example, when a person who is turned down for a date might rationalize the situation by saying they were not attracted to the other person anyway. A student might rationalize a poor exam score by blaming the instructor rather than admitting their lack of preparation. Rationalization. Oh, Nick said he's going to like that show. All right. Oh, a few of y'all I'm seeing now it's coming up. Good. Rationalization not only prevents anxiety. So you see, even in bad habits, even in defense mechanisms, there is a reason why we do it. Put that on the screen. There's a reason why I do it. And just ... mean it goes on. It continues. It's about so many things. Yes, rationalization is real. It's like living in reality. So you could rationalize away the reason why you failed your test, saying that it was the instructor, they weren't a good teacher, they weren't fair, or you didn't have enough time, rather than admit you had poor preparation. Rationalization, this is where the harm comes in. Rationalization not only prevents anxiety, but it may also protect self-esteem and self-concept. Now listen, when trying to explain success or failure, people using this defense mechanism tend to attribute achievement to their qualities and skills, while failures are blamed on other people or outside forces. Did y'all hear that? So the reason why we do it is because we believe it prevents anxiety, and it does to some degree. But this is where the problem comes in. And you know it's not rational. You know it's not logical, because all of your achievements go automatically on the side of qualities and skills. Where do failures fall? Yeah, they are so exposing. Failures. Perceived failures. That's why we had in my intentional mentoring group, we were dealing with how to change our mindset towards failure. Embrace failure. And embrace it so much so that you only fail once. You will never fail again in that area. By stop seeing failure as an end all, a death sentence. So in trying to explain success or failure, the poor mindset is where we get into trouble at, because people use defense mechanisms to attribute achievements to quality and skill, but failures are blamed on other people and other forces. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. All right, y'all got some work to do. I guess you can guess that I'm going to ask for 1 to 3 places on where you see some regression in your life and some projection in your life. And if you can't see it, what I want you to do is I want you to begin noticing it. Like Pastor D, it might have been a normal morning for her yesterday morning, but because she's being taught this, her soul is being awakened to it. The Holy Spirit is already there willing to do the work, but we haven't given the Holy Spirit anything to work on in us until now. We've become educated and enlightened to defense mechanisms. Poor response behaviors is what we call them. Poor response behaviors. So now the Holy Spirit can do his job and convict you. So now, because she has the information, she has the education, she's aware now, ooh, that was a defense mechanism. That was me minimizing, or that was simple denial, or that was transference, which is all still denial. Whether you transfer or minimize it, you're still in denial. Whether you smoked a whole cigarette or half a cigarette, you took more than a puff. So try to do 1 to 3 every night on these. If you cannot think of any in your life yet, that's good. That's bravo. I like to see that. And I like to see that because it shows us our work, what we're doing. So what I want you to do instead is on your notebook, I want you to put at the top, denial. I want you to put, what are we on? Just the 4th one tonight? So after denial, I want you to put on the next page, give it a whole page, repression/suppression. And then on the next page over, the 3rd page, I want you to put at the top heading, projection. And then you're going to stop there because that's where we stopped tonight, right? Yeah, that's where we stopped tonight. Oh no, we got to rationalization. So go to number 4, go to your 4th page, and put rationalization, and then just put some numbers down, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want you to begin to notice, use your self-awareness that we were taught last year, and go back and fill in where you see these behaviors at. Where am I using rationalization at? Where am I using denial at? Where am I using projection at? Where am I using suppression and regression at? And then that, if you do end up going with the coach after we do some of this work here, you will have a lot to start out with them. Oh, you can tell your coach, oh, you don't have to spend 2 months with me trying to figure out what plan works for me. This is where I know my issues are, and this is where I want to start working at. So tomorrow night, we're going to get together. We're finishing tonight on rationalization. Tomorrow night, we're going to start with regression, and then we're going to go to acting out. We're going to get 2 more done tomorrow. Regression. That's different than what you think we talked about, and acting out. Thank you, Chevelle, for the replay. And let's see what's on my page here. I think that was good. Yep, Ebony has all the homework instructions in the notes. Lisa has all the contact information up here. So we're done. We're going home for tonight. Enjoy your evening. I pray that you get sweet sleep so that you can have a blessed work day on tomorrow. And I pray from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet that you will not be triggered, but there will be a healing balm in Gilead to soothe you, to comfort you, to teach you even how to self-soothe yourself so that you will break away from maladaptive defense mechanisms into very adaptive coping mechanisms for the rest of your entire life. I pray that as those steps are put into place and that adaptational process becomes to be your norm, your sugar will lower, your blood pressure will lower. You will have less pain in your body, aches in your joints, diseases and autoimmune deficiency syndromes will no longer be on any report that the doctor has with your name on it. As you do this inner internal work, your physical body will be healed solely and completely according to purpose by your creator, Jesus Christ. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Good night. God bless you.
Let it